Training camp practices are, for all intents and purposes, done, finished. They're over. One final preseason game remains, but taking a stab at that 53-man Texans roster. Let's put it together, and I'll even put it together as I see the depth chart playing out as well. So we know about the quarterback situation. I believe they'll be keeping two quarterbacks, C.J. Stroud and Davis Mills at quarterback. I would think, based on the results of camp, that Keaton Slovis is going to be a practice squad player. You see my little practice squad denotation there, that Keaton Slovis will be the third quarterback and be the practice squad player. I understand the investment in the draft pick that is Graham Mertz. If they are looking for the better football player, to me, it has been Keaton Slovis in camp. Enough about the quarterback situation. We know about that. Mills had a pretty good camp. CJ, they're learning the offense. There's been some really, really good days. There's been a couple of bad days, and most of it has been flashes of what we're going to see. Still very intriguing. I'm going to go ahead and put Joe Mixon in that spot in the running back room where I believe he will be, but I also believe he's going to start the year on PUP or IR or non-football injury and miss at least 4 games. I believe Mixon will miss at least 4 games, but when he returns, he's obviously going to be the starter for this team. So that doesn't count against our 53. Neither does Keaton Slovis. He's a practice squad player. Nick Chubb is the first guy out there when they don't have Joe Mixon available. Dameon Pierce, it seems to be that they believe him to be a proven commodity. And even though he missed a good portion of training camp, he finds himself on this roster. We know Woody Marks is making the team, and Daria Gumbawale is the trusted veteran at the running back position for the Houston Texans. So already 6 players on the 53-man roster, and it's really a 50-man roster because, of course, the 3 specialists. So 6 of our 50 non-specialists already on the roster. I'm not going to figure out exactly if British Brooks is making it just yet. So we will move forward and we'll fine-tune those final couple of spots as we see fit. Jakob Johnson, I believe he's making the team as the fullback for this organization. Nico Collins at the wide receiver spot on the outside. The other spot opposite him, Xavier Hutchinson. And, of course, Christian Kirk checks in as the slot receiver. Backing those players up, we know Jalen Knowles is going to be on this team. He is a depth piece at that slot wide receiver spot. And I feel strongly that Braxton Berrios is also going to make this team. Backing up Collins and Hutchinson on the outside, you've got Jaden Higgins backing those guys up. And at that point, they've got 6 wide receivers. I actually feel pretty good about 6 versus 7. But when you look at it this way, and I know that Higgins can play inside and outside, and I know Noel can play inside and outside, and they can move guys around, it does feel like you almost need one more outside body because Kirk is primarily inside, though he can play outside, and Berrios is an inside guy as well. But let's just kind of hang out for a second here when it comes to the wide receiver room and start filling in a couple of these other positions. I don't believe Irv Smith is going to make the Houston Texans, so I'm going to go with these 3 tight ends, but practice squad for the rookie out of Iowa, Luke Lachey. Irv Smith has been a somewhat decent player through parts of camp. He was hurt for a little bit. He looked okay in the joint practice, didn't quite come up with as many catches as he wanted. If you told me that Lachey and Irv Smith were making the practice squad, it's probably not the craziest thing in the world to think about it from that standpoint. Let's put that offensive line together. I believe the line they are going to start is not actually the best line, but that's going to be the line that they ultimately go with. So Ariante Ursary at left tackle, Laken Tomlinson at left guard. Center is going to be Jake Andrews. The right guard is going to be Ed Ingram. And the right tackle is going to be Titus Howard for this projection. It's worth noting This is not the offensive line they had when camp got going. Cam Robinson's injury changed things. Titus Howard being much, much better than Blake Fisher. I don't believe they're going to give up on Blake Fisher. So he's going to be on the roster. Cam Robinson going to be your other tackle backup. I believe Trent Brown is going to start the year on the PUP list, as he is currently on the PUP list. Now, who are our backups here on the interior? Well, Jared Patterson is your backup center. And at this point, between the 5 starters, the 3 backups, we need one more backup. How about Juice Scruggs, who can back up multiple positions on the inside? So your 9 linemen, Tomlinson, Andrews, Ingram, Howard, Patterson, Scruggs, Fisher, and Robinson. And remember, D'Amico Ryan said that 9 number when he was talking about the offensive linemen. This is most of the offense. We'll see what we have left for maybe British Brooks or turning one of these practice squad tight ends into a rostered player here. But let's go to the defense. I feel pretty strongly that they're going to be able to keep 5 at defensive end and 5 at defensive tackle. Well, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter are obviously on this team. At defensive tackle, they've been putting Sheldon Rankins out there with Tim Settle Jr. So those are 4 of your 10 defensive linemen. So let's find those backups at defensive end. Well, there's Dylan Horton for you. And then there is Darrell Taylor for you as well. And let's sneak in one more, a defensive end. How about the big fella, Derek Barnett? Now, this is not the exact defensive end rotation that I believe they're going to use, but they're all interchangeable and they're all movable aroundable, which is a new phrase that I just invented. Mario Edwards Jr., I feel really good about Tommy Togiai making this team. D'Amico Ryan's called him the most consistent player in the organization. They really like what he's done. He pushes the pocket pretty well. He came on strong at the end of last year. And again, I believe they're keeping 10 defensive linemen. So Foley Fatakasi makes it. I'm putting Junior Tafuna in here at defensive tackle, but we're going to give him that practice squad designation. I'm also going to throw a couple of defensive ends in there with practice squad designations. I liked what I saw out of Solomon Byrd and Casey Toohill over the course of camp. So I'm going to give them the opportunity here on the practice squad. Feels like that's going to be the case. You're saying, Cody, hey, you got that defensive end spot. That's kind of weird. Little opening there for you. Nico Autry. Let's go with him starting the year on PUP, just like fellow veteran Trent Brown. So there's your defensive line room with a couple of practice squad players. Byrd was really good at the beginning of camp and then kind of tailed off. Toohill was not great at the beginning of camp and then came on strong with a couple of plays late. So that's where I find the defensive line shaking out. Let's put the linebackers together here. Aziz Al-Shire and Christian Harris at linebacker. Henry To'o and EJ Speed at linebacker as well. Okay, and then I feel pretty good about Jake Hansen making this team too. So there's 5 linebackers. Let's see what the roster crunch presents as we go through this in exercise. We know Jalen Petrie is going to be on the team. He's there as the nickelback for this team. Never made it as a wise man. Kalen Bullock, and I believe C.J. Gardner-Johnson will begin the year unavailable to play, but on the active roster. If his injury luck is as good as it seemed that it was, if his injury luck is as good as it seems that it was, then C.J. Gardner-Johnson is not going to miss too terribly much time. We know that Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter are making the team. We know that Jalen Smith and Tremont Smith are making the team as well, and MJ Stewart on this team at safety. Until he gets healthy or the legal situation clears up, I believe Jimmy Ward will still be a part of this organization. I would think Jalen Reed is your final safety if he's close enough to being ready for the regular season. It's worth noting, still a little bit of time before the Rams game pops up. Reed's missed some time, but he's a drafted rookie that it feels like they felt pretty highly about him. And I like Jalen Reed a lot. So there's my 4 safeties, Jimmy Ward there. I probably can sneak one more DB into this equation. I'm going to put a guy that can play a couple of different spots here. I'm going to put him at safety in Miles Bryant. So there's my defense in this projection. And we've got 21 players, 22, 23, 24, 25 on defense. We know our 3 specialists, Kaimi Fairbairn, Tommy Townsend, and one of the 2 long snappers, either Austin Brinkman or Blake Ferguson. I don't know which one's better. I have to imagine it's Brinkman, but he hadn't been at practice, so they have Ferguson, one of the 2 long snappers. So we all feel pretty good about that. Punt return, I'm going to put Braxton Berrios down here at a couple of different spots. There's punt return and kick return for him. And then I will put Damian Pierce with Berrios at kick return, and I would put Jalen Knoll as the backup at punt return. Now, obviously, these don't count towards our 53, but 3 here, 25 players on defense. Let's take a look at how many offensive players we have. So it's 29 less 5, so we get 25 there. Okay, so we got our roster, huh? That's it, because I'm taking away the 5 players here that are 3 practice squad and 2 injuries. Make sure I get my, you're going to hear me count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, so 24 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we got 1 roster spot left because we got 25 here, 24 on offense, and of course the 3 specialists. We got 1 roster spot left. What do we do with it? I don't think it's a tight end body. Maybe Arthur Maulette at nickelback because he's a backup, but that's why you have Miles Bryant on this team. You know what? I like this guy. He's a special team standout. He busted his ass and made the team last year, and he's busting his ass and making the team this year for me. Brutish Brooks. So that gives us 5 running backs. Now, somebody might lose their job when Mixon gets healthy. Of course, he's not counting against them right now. Neither is Trent Brown, Danico Autry, Jimmy Ward. That's the 53-man roster. Put it together, and put it together in pretty speedy order here. That's my guess, my projection. The hardest one to leave off there, Justin Watson. Is it Watson versus British Brooks? Is it Watson versus a defensive back? Is it Watson versus a defensive lineman? Do they feel like they actually need that last little bit? I don't believe they do. They can get it done with those 6 wide receivers. Throw some guys on the practice squad and start with some guys hurt on the season. Then the roster crunch becomes even more crunchy when those players come back. If they come back, they could very easily move on from Danico Autry. He has been a pretty big disappointment for the investment that they made in him last offseason in free agency. Where'd I get it wrong in the roster projection? Let me know in the comment section down below. On your way down there, thumbs up on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you, everybody, for watching throughout the course of the preseason, which is almost over. The regular season's going to be damn fun, and I'm happy that you're along for the ride. Appreciate you watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.